Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into the global hydrometeorological threat picture for October 19th, 2025. And the main thing here is synthesis, right? Because it's not just one single weather event we're tracking.
No, not at all. It's really a dangerous convergence. We've got these catastrophic recovery situations, active disruptions happening right now, and then this emerging tropical threat.
All hitting at the same time, stretching resources thin.
Exactly. So maybe let's start with those recovery zones. Central and eastern Mexico, for instance, they had those torrential rains.
Yeah, the human cost there is just staggering. 64 are confirmed dead and, what, about 100,000 homes damaged?
That's right. The scale alone is devastating, but then you layer on this complicating factor, especially in the oil town of Poza Rica.
Ah, right. This is where it becomes more than just a natural disaster.
Precisely. The floodwaters, they weren't just floodwaters, they were heavily contaminated with oil residue.
So you see walls, debris, everything just coated in this black, tory stuff.
Exactly. Which means the recovery isn't just about rebuilding, it's about specialized hazardous material cleanup. A completely different ballgame.
And doesn't this point towards some kind of institutional issue? Like, a governance failure?
Well, reports do suggest that Pemex, the state oil company, didn't drain some key oil storage areas beforehand.
Something they'd done in the past during heavy rains, I read.
Yes, apparently so. It really highlights how these risks aren't purely natural anymore. It's this intersection of environmental stress and, failures to manage industrial hazards properly.
Okay, so that's Mexico. Then thousands of miles away, you have western Alaska, still reeling from Typhoon Halong.
Yeah, totally different environment. Same level of catastrophe, though.
Yeah.
Remote villages like Kipnuk, Quigilingok. We saw catastrophic structural failure there.
Homes literally swept away.
Homes swept away. Essential infrastructure gone. Boardwalks, which are basically their roads, airstrips, completely wiped out.
Which forces a massive emergency response.
Right, absolutely. We're talking a huge historic airlift. The Alaska National Guard is using heavy lift helicopters, Blackhawks and Chinooks, just to fly hundreds of survivors out.
Flying them to Anchorage, to shelters.
Shelters in Anchorage, yeah. But the bigger picture here, the strategic insight.
It's the climate change angle. Melting permafrost, erosion.
Exactly. That's fueling this. It means this kind of structural failure isn't likely a one-off. Constantly rebuilding in the same place might just be futile.
So the conversation has to shift towards managed retreat, planned relocation.
That's the difficult long-term implication. It's less about rebuilding and more about adapting to the changing reality, which might mean moving communities.
Okay, let's shift focus then. From those recovery zones to active, ongoing disruption. The U.S. East Coast nor'easter.
Right. This is happening now, causing real logistical problems. Major economic corridors are feeling it.
And that's the drain, isn't it? The resource drain. We're seeing significant ground delays at major airports, like 80 minutes at Newark, almost 90 at Boston Logan.
And add to that, coastal road washouts, Highway 12 in North Carolina, which is critical. Plus, states of emergency declared across all 21 counties in New Jersey. That ties up a lot of resources.
Resources that might be needed elsewhere very soon, because at the same time,
you have this emerging threat in the Caribbean. Invest 98.
And invest means they're watching it closely. High potential for development.
Very high. About a 70% chance of it becoming a tropical depression within 7 days.
And the forecast suggests it could slow down and strengthen.
Yeah, potentially strengthening significantly right there in the Central Caribbean. That means the call to action is now for aggressive resource prepositioning. You can't wait.
So you've got past disaster recovery, current storm disruption, and this looming future threat. What does that do to the institutions, like FEMA?
It puts them under incredible strain. FEMA's managing acute responses in Alaska on the East Coast,
while also handling the ongoing recovery work from past disasters, New Mexico, Texas, West Virginia.
Exactly. All that administrative workload, you could almost call it disaster debt. And this is happening against a backdrop of reported uncertainty about federal disaster funding levels.
So when the system is taxed by yesterday's, today's, and tomorrow's crises all at once,
resilience just plummets. It becomes incredibly fragile.
Which really demands a shift in thinking, doesn't it? Away from just reacting to each storm tactically.
It has to. The challenge is structural. It's the convergence we talked about. Environmental change, industrial weakness, institutional strain, all coming together.
So thinking back to Poza Rica, where that industrial contamination turned a flood into something much worse.
It really underscores the need for future planning to explicitly integrate industrial risk. It can't just be about flood maps anymore. You have to map the industrial hazards within those flood zones.
Which brings us to the final thought for you, the listener. Thinking about your own region, what risks are hidden just beneath the surface?
Yeah, things like maybe outdated chemical plants, old fuel depots, critical infrastructure in vulnerable spots.
Things that a predictable weather event, even just a simple flood, could potentially turn into a major complex catastrophe.
That's the kind of deeper analysis we all need to be considering now.